Good evening, everyone. The time is now 6:06 p.m. We'll call the July 28th meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time we'll ask for any public comment on agenda items. Does anyone wish to comment on agenda items? Sir, we have one. Okay, come on up.
Good evening.
Good evening. What agenda item are you commenting on?
The one for the transition advisory.
Yes, number 17. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is John DePlacido, and I'm speaking as a member of the Transition Advisory Committee. The TAC Committee completed a request for proposal of an outside entity to modify the Mill Creek administrative codes that are part of the change in governments to a council manager form of governments set to start in January 2028. The TAC Committee approved this RFP and sent it to the supervisors for sending out and funding. They then chose to provide their own draft series of events to complete the administrative changes required. They gave the TAC Committee a draft committee of how the administrative changes would be made utilizing their own employees instead of an outside consultant who can do the project quickly, expertly, and at minimal cost. I have a concern with administrative changes being made internally. There is, in my opinion, a possibility that it could be a conflict of interest as the employees making the changes to the administrative codes may also be subject to these rule changes. They also, I believe, would possibly not have the background and expertise to change the administrative codes to meet the optional plan's requirements as needed, and therefore would need the help of someone who can get them through the process and define what needs to be done. This would probably involve asking a professional consultant or a legal team for advice, which would cost legal fees and take the employees away from their normal jobs. These costs would be melded into existing budget items and not transparent to the public as a signed RFP with a fixed cost would. You authorize a transition advisory committee to help with making sure all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed as we prepare for the new council manager form of governments starting in January of 2028. The members of the TAC are dedicated to make sure that the 5 council members in January of 2028 will have all the information needed for ultimate approval of the administrative changes now being discussed, as well as manager vetting for their ultimate approval. The TAC is willing and able to spend time necessary to complete these tasks and report progress on an ongoing basis. Finally, utilizing an outside consultant familiar with all the requirements needed and hired through a bidding process that will serve the best interests of the residents is preferred by the majority of the TAC, and I'm asking the supervisors to reconsider their draft plan going forward and send out and finance the RFP. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also agree with what he just said. I believe that there is a bias when you have employees in the township that are making decisions, whereas if you had an outside, whether it's a law firm or another group that deals with this kind of work, it's not showing any bias. And these are people that are experienced in that. That's all I have to say.
Good evening. I think I speak on behalf of much of Erie, if not all of Erie, when I say that the flock cameras are
Sir, we're only asking for comment on anything that's on the agenda.
Oh, on the agenda.
You'll get an opportunity at the very end to speak about non-agenda items.
I apologize.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Anyone else want to comment on anything on the agenda itself? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to approval of our minutes from the July 14th, 2026 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Okay, we'll call for a vote on this. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 5 is approval of the bills. Any questions or comments or a motion on the bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
And I will second.
Okay, Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 6 is a public hearings for subdivision land development plans. First one is a subdivision of the lands for Brian M. Giordano, a minor subdivision plan. Director Waldinger.
Yes, thank you. Yes, the subdivision for the lands of Brian M. Giordano are a minor subdivision plan to show the creation of a 7,484 square foot lot number 2, resulting in a residual lot of 7,915 square feet, located at 3312 Hampshire Road, along the west line of Hampshire Road, south of West 32nd Street in Tract 79. At their regular meeting of Tuesday, July 7th, 2026, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision with the and recommended the granting of a required modification, which would be needed as neither of the lots has the required 60-foot frontage.
Okay, thank you. We will open up the hearing on this. Anyone wish to speak on this minor subdivision plan? Okay. Hearing no comments on this. Oh, okay, sir.
I don't know if there's anything you need, but if there's anything you're interested in knowing, let me know. But I know it doesn't have the 60-foot across code, but my current house is only 28 feet wide, and the new house will only be about 34. So it's like, I don't plan on having a house that goes long.
Could you put the microphone
That goes the
up?
long
You can
way?
move it up.
Okay.
There you go.
So I realize the code is 60 feet, but it's kind of unrealistic unless you're going to put a house, horizontal to the road, which I'm not. So I hope that consider that, please.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Mr. Giordano?
No? Okay. Thank you.
I was just going to ask, does it still meet the typical 3x1 that we try to have for a lot size?
Let me see, 56. Yes, there's no violation of 3-to-1 depth to width.
Okay.
Good question. Excellent. Okay. I'll close the hearing and ask for a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to approve the subdivision plan.
And seconded.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I believe the motion should include the modification.
I'll make okay, I will amend my motion to approve the subdivision plan with the recommendations. Modifications given by Matt Waldinger.
And second.
And we have a motion and a second. Call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Director Waldinger, go ahead with the second one.
Okay, the second one is a subdivision plan number 3 for Jean A. and Anna M. Gronendahl, Jean A. the second, and Julie A. Gronendahl. It's a minor subdivision plan to show the creation of a 4.274 acre parcel to become an integral part of Lot 2, which is located at 751 Arbuckle Road, and would create a 13.509 acre parcel, as well as the creation of a 6.170 acre parcel to become an integral part of Lot 1, which is located at 723 Arbuckle Road, and would create a 13.510 acre parcel These are both located along the south line of Arbuckle Road and the east line of Footmill Road in Tract 340. And at their regular meeting of Tuesday, July 7th, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this subdivision plan.
We'll open up the hearing now. Anyone wish to comment on this subdivision plan on Arbuckle Road? Going once. Sir?
I'm Gene Gronendahl, and I'm representing the owner of one of the lots there. We're just trying to, with this subdivision, return it to its original subdivision that it was approximately 8 or 10 years ago, before we had changed it in order to allow for horses. So we don't have any animals or horses, and we're just trying to go back.
Okay,
All right? Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else wish to comment on this minor subdivision plan? Okay, hearing no more comments, I'll close the hearing and ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I also vote yes. And we have a land development plan for hay site reinforced plastics.
Thank you. Yes, this is a land development plan to show the construction of a 38,611 square foot addition located at 5599 Perry Highway with associated stormwater management facilities. This is located along the east line of Perry Highway, north of Evans Road in Tract 342. And at their regular meeting of Tuesday, July 7th, 2026, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission recommended approval of this land development plan with the requirement that the plan show the dimensions of the existing building and the proposed addition to the plan. I can report that we did receive an updated plan since the Planning Commission from the engineer, and they have added those dimensions to the drawing.
Okay, thank you. I'll open up the hearing now, and anyone that wishes to speak on this.
Thank you. My name is Edward Betza. I'm an attorney in Erie at the Quinn Elderkin Law Firm. I represent Haysite Reinforced Plastics. I have with me Mark Diekman, the project manager from Haas & Staub Architects, who's kind of running the show with this. And then I also have, to my immediate right, David Janis, who is the managing director at Haysite Reinforced Plastics. The short version is, from my perspective, this is an awesome expansion. This is about a $38,000 square foot expansion to a booming facility. And I think it's just great. We're here to answer any questions that you may have, but we're really excited to be able to present this and do this in Mill Creek Township.
Any questions?
And I believe I saw somewhere it said that it's going to be built in stages.
Yes, that's correct. This land development plan takes care of about 5 years of phases in incremental method. That way, not spend all the money up front, but kind of doing it more casually.
All right.
We're good? Thank you very much. I agree. That's awesome. It's a great addition there. Anyone else wish to speak on this land development plan? Okay, hearing no other comments, I'll close the hearing and ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the land development plan.
Second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 7 on our agenda, we have some new amended ordinances under review. Attorney Shaw?
Yes, thank you. We continue to look towards finalizing these subdivision and land development ordinance amendments. In addition, we are looking at stormwater ordinance amendments. We're working with the Township Engineering and Planning and Development Departments to review and update the Township's stormwater management ordinance. And lastly, we're working on zoning ordinance amendments, and I'll turn that over to Matt to give a little bit more detailed description of what we're doing there.
Thank you. I did give a rundown at the last supervisors meeting, but I would like to go over again some of the changes that we are proposing to the zoning ordinance. The greatest change is the addition of data center as a use. Those are not being added to encourage or to, try and attract data centers to the township, but we do need to be prepared if one were to approach us to look to develop in Mill Creek. And so this sets out definitions and regulations would be imposed on data centers if they were to locate in the township. It does make them a conditional use in the industrial districts. And it is also important to note that all of the additional regulations that are listed in the amendment that would be placed on data centers are also over and above any regulations that the township already has. So some of the things you heard about today, such as stormwater management, nuisance ordinances, all of those things would apply to data centers, as well as all of these additional regulations. Along with data centers, we are also adding a use for significant tobacco retailer. That would be your traditional, or your vape shops, tobacco shops, just to control their location and try and protect the health, safety, and welfare of the township. We are also adding a definition and a use for a transitional dwelling, which would allow shelters for folks like we saw at the Mount Carmel. Those would be added in the R2 and R3 residential districts as conditional uses, and then in the C1 corridor commercial district. We also have proposed adding convenience store large as a conditional use in the C1 commercial district. And we are looking to update some of the sign regulations in the C1 district to allow for larger electronic message centers, but still abiding by all of the regulations that are given to electronic message centers, such as the speed of the message. It has to be static. It can only change so many seconds. Has to be dimmed at night. It can't be an active video board. We've also updated some parking regulations in order to account for the new uses. We've updated some illustrations that were incorrect in the last ordinance. And then lastly, since I presented this to the board at the last meeting, we've done an internal review and decided to go back and look even deeper at the transitional dwellings and add some specific supplemental regulations that deal with those in the conditional uses that would come. Because of those changes, this was originally proposed to come before the board at the last meeting in August, but because of our notification requirements, this is now being proposed to be before you on September 8th, at the September 8th meeting. So.
Okay.
If I could, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Just so folks understand conditional use concept. Conditional use means that it would have to come before the Board of Supervisors at a public meeting in order to be approved. So the public would have an opportunity to comment on any of those uses that are conditional uses, such as data centers. So we thought that was the most appropriate way to handle it.
Okay, thank you for that update. Number 8 on the agenda is Resolution 2026 R25. Jessica?
Thank you. Good evening, supervisors. Before you is a resolution to allow an application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Commonwealth Financing Authority for a multimodal transportation grant. I've been working with Planning Department and engineering. This project is a West 8th Street multimodal safety project. This would be transforming that roadway for pedestrian safety, building pedestrian infrastructure, and also public transportation infrastructure. So it would include sidewalks, street lights, crosswalks, pedestrian countdown signals, and particularly with regard to buses, it would include bus pull-off lanes, so the buses could be able to drop off and pick up passengers without impeding traffic flow, and also bus shelters so that folks can wait for the bus under shelter instead of out in the conditions. This particular grant through the DCED is up to $3 million, and the project is coming in right around that number, so we're asking to apply for the whole $3 million. The With luck would have it, because the state budget passed, there's no match required. They had waived the match in prior years, but we didn't know for sure that would happen this year because of the need for the state budget. But since it passed, there's no local match required for this particular grant. So the timeline is important. This is a complementary project to the other endeavors that are going on A Street between Pittsburgh and Peninsula Drive with the Turnback program through PennDOT that'll get the road paved and curbed, and then at the same time we're doing sidewalks and the streetscape amenities all together. So the intent is to really make this a very multimodal corridor and make it something that folks will be able to walk to easily, take the bus to, patronize the stores there. We are looking at the data to see increased utilization and reduced vacancy rates and things like that as a result of this project. Questions?
And I know with some grants, they have, you know, preferences of kind of certain things they're looking for. Is this project kind of one of the ones that would hit like the, you know, these are especially what we're looking for in this grant?
I think primarily because of the timing of the grant application, we're really focusing here in Mill Creek on things like active transportation, on we're attempting to work on the issue of safer streets and things like that. So I think the timing and the kind of the catalyst for all the activities that are happening in Mill Creek makes us a good applicant, and it complements the fact that we're making a significant investment in the roadway through the PennDOT Turnback program. So we're asking them to come in at the same time we'll have a whole new roadway and streetscape at the same time, which is, you know, rather than say we're going to put something in where you're not taking care of the roadway, we are going to be taking care of the roadway at the same time.
And when would we know if this was awarded?
Usually they're awarding, I believe, December, around December. Matt, would you agree?
I believe so.
Yeah, typically the end of the year, like a Christmas present. We hope. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go sit down, but I'm coming back.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would also like to say we do have the support of Senator Laughlin and Representative Bizzarro as well for this grant. They are great voices in Harrisburg, and they continue to help us help the residents in Mill Creek Township and Erie County. And with that, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the resolution.
And I will second.
I'll call for a vote on this. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Number 9, Resolution 2026-R26. Attorney Shaw.
Yes, Resolution 2026-R26 is a resolution to approve the disposal of certain municipal records maintained by the police department that are reaching the end of their retention period under the Municipal Records Manual. Police department records to be disposed of include MVR BWC footage that includes test recordings through June 10th of 2026, traffic stops through May 12 of 2026, incident only in special circumstances through August 10th of 2024, and case report, arrest report, SRR unknown type through August 10 of 2006. Recommendation would be to approve this resolution.
Okay, do I have a motion on this resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Okay, moving on to number 10, bids and quotations. We have electrical service equipment and camera upgrades and a cabinet. Director Puda?
Thank you. The Traffic Department is requesting to purchase 3 electrical service disconnects to upgrade traffic signals at State Road 8 and Wager Road, Sterretania Road and Collier Road, and Sterretania Road and West 38th Street. Quotes were received from Signal Service Incorporated for the price of $984 per disconnect for a total cost of $2,952 under CoStar's number 4824. Funding for these disconnects will come from the Traffic Department's capital budget. The second request is for the Traffic Department requesting to purchase 2 traffic cameras for upgrading the intersections of State Road 8 and East Score Road and State Road 8 and Wager Road. Quotes were received from Signal Services Incorporated for the prices of $24,864 and $29,995 respectively, for a total cost of $54,859 under CoStar's number 4824. Funding for these cameras will also come from the Traffic Department's capital budget. And third, the Traffic Department is requesting to purchase a new traffic cabinet for upgrading the intersection of State Road 8 and Wager Road. The quote was received from Pathmaster, who is our sole provider of these cabinets, for the price of $28,636. Funding for this cabinet also will come from the Traffic Department's capital budget, and I recommend approving all this equipment.
Any questions or comments on these requests?
For the traffic cameras that are going up, those are the ones that help with the timing of the lights?
That's correct.
Okay. And are we fixing some old ones, or are these adding more to that timing system?
Specifically out on State Road 8 and Wager Road, that's going to be a total rebuild over there. The purpose for a lot of those cameras, 2 years ago, the state repaved that road, and when they go and redo a mill, the old traffic loops that used to be in the pavement are all torn out. It's obsolete material, so now all the cameras are overhead. That was 2 years ago, and then last year, the township paved Wager Road, removing the other ones. So them signals out there have been just on timers, so now with these cameras, you'll be able to detect and change the lights based on the people that are at the intersections. So we are upgrading a lot of these intersections. The other one, there was an accident. They hit the traffic cabinet at State Road 8 and Gore, so that's the one we're replacing, that cabinet. So a lot of these are just upgrades due to either an accident or just outdated equipment.
Gotcha.
And I'll also ask a question, Mr. Chairman. These cameras do not record, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so there's no loop, okay, they just basically are there to indicate whether or not a vehicle pulls up.
Right, and they also...
Like a sensor.
Yeah, they also sense pedestrians for crossing, so it will basically sense them and let them cross the road safely.
I see.
And
Okay.
stop, turn.
I just want to make that clear for
Yep.
everyone. Okay.
Okay, is there a motion on this traffic equipment?
I'll make a motion to approve the traffic equipment.
And seconded.
I'll call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 4 on our bids and quotes is a 2026 small ADA upgrade project from the engineering department. Director Rodemoyer.
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is associated with some miscellaneous sidewalk repairs, and to come into ADA compliance, we have some miscellaneous spots that we need to repair in regards to these ADA improvements. We did solicit 4 quotes. We only did receive 1 quote back from Amendola Construction for $17,300.00. Even though we did receive the 1 quote, we do feel that is a good number, well under what we had budgeted, and I am recommending approval of Amendola Construction for the $17,300.
Is this part of the CDBG funds, or is this separate from that?
This is separate. This has to go back to the voices stuff. It's miscellaneous stuff like, like hydrants in the way of the sidewalk, miscellaneous stuff. I mean, the specifics are in there, but it's just very small sections that we've been trying to clean these up. These were identified as part of that whole litigation and stuff, and so every year we do about 4 or 5 of these.
Okay.
Yeah, Kylie, during the process of the litigation, we had found maybe 20 to 30 kind of miscellaneous areas they weren't big projects, but there were things that needed to be addressed at some point. So we've been kind of knocking off a handful over the last few years until we finish them up.
Are we finished up soon?
There's probably not many left.
I said, are we finished up soon?
We should be, I believe. We maybe have 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, on those there weren't many. On the sidewalk side, there's still quite a few that have to be done.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion on this sidewalk project bid?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Okay, Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 11 is additional funding request for the Shore Haven fiscal year 24 CDBG sidewalk project. Director
Yes,
Rodemoyer.
this is the CDBG one. Hopefully I can explain this to you. Yeah, typically every year we get a certain dollar amount. We're right in the $240,000 CDBG funds from the county. Typically the county pays for everything. We kind of facilitate the project and put everything through, put it out to bid. This year on this particular project, we did have a certain amount that we did go over. Most of that had to do with, typically it was driveway adjustments sometimes when you go out and you have to put in the new sidewalks based upon the ADA compliance. You know, we have to take care of the driveways, tie them back in. This is where the majority of the cost goes, but essentially they're over the initial project. I think it was like 7.2% over, but the county has requested us to initially pay that $11,341.75 to the county, and they would in turn pay the contractor for their last payment. They have submitted a final application. The contractor who was awarded the project has submitted their last payment. So the county has requested us to kind of fund them the overage up front, which is not unheard of. It's, you know, it happens occasionally sometimes to finish this project out. That's kind of how they wanted to finish this process. They kind of wanted that little bit of money so they could pay the contractor in full. So I am recommending approval of the $11,341.75 being paid to the county of Erie.
And I would note that the amounts that the township pays outside of CDBG do count towards its obligations under the agreement. So if township's obligated to spend a certain amount each year, and it counts towards that amount.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I also vote yes on this. Number 12, we have an acceptance of the paramedic scholarship grant and authorization to execute. Chief Cliff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm requesting approval to accept the grant from Erie County Department of Planning and Community Development for the amount of $8,700 to reimburse Mill Creek Township for the cost of full-time firefighter Mike Kelly's paramedic education. This award was provided through the document in front of you, the Paramedic Scholarship Agreement. And I'm also requesting the authorization to execute the grant agreement and the documents on behalf of Mill Creek Township to facilitate the reimbursement and the conformity to the scholarship program.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on this?
No, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, number 13, acceptance of Erie County opioid settlement grant for the Mill Creek PAL 26-27 school year. Jessica?
Thank you. This particular item is the acceptance of a grant in the amount of $41,000 to cover the costs of the Mill Creek Police Department working at or supporting the PAL program at Tracy School. As you know, last year, about midway through the school year, their funding was eliminated. There wasn't any funding to carry on the PAL program, and the supervisors were asked to look for money within the Mill Creek General Fund to pay for that. So immediately when I was hired, I worked with Chief Mook to determine the priorities and find some funding to ensure that that program would be able to be continued into 26-27. So this funding is through the Erie County Opioid Settlement Fund. That fund's intent is to work on issues of prevention, treatment, and recovery. This particular project where we are working with the children, at-risk youth at Tracy School between grades 3 through 6 is really focused on mentoring and prevention and education and support of those folks, and it matches right into the goals of the opioid settlement funds. This has provided us an opportunity to make those connections to a new funding source, which it appears to be that something will be sustainable through the future years and provide opportunity for growth in the PAL program. The chief has talked about opportunities there in the future, and hopefully this will bring that to fruition. And then that relationship is developing for future funding for the crisis co-responder as well. We're working with the police department, with the police chief and the crisis co-responder to be available on overdose, substance abuse issues, to provide support and information to families and folks suffering with substance abuse issues. And that is something that he's already facing, but this will lend itself to sustainable funding for that position down the road, hopefully. So this is 41,000 to the good. Check. Now, can I go? Oh, questions?
Any questions for Jessica?
I would also note that the authorization would include executing the agreement that we've been provided for this funding. It's a one-year term. There are audit and reporting requirements, training requirements, and then the typical provisions you see in these types of agreements, notices, right to know, compliance, and so forth. I would also mention that, the source of this funding is that opioid settlement that the township, participated in. And as a result of the township's participation, the county got extra funding as a result. And this is funding that is going to be, I think, available for the next 15 or 20 years through that settlement.
Through 2039.
So it's a great use of the money, and it's a good thing the township, participated in that settlement to make these kinds of funds available.
Just to give you a perspective, this Pennsylvania is receiving $2.2 billion, and 70% of that will be distributed to the counties in Pennsylvania. So it provides a good funding opportunity for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, number 14 is our stormwater management O&M agreement, 2222 Pittsburgh Avenue. Director Rodemore?
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is for a commercial property and associated building addition with this property at 2222 Pittsburgh Avenue. The stormwater plans have been reviewed and approved within our department, and the property owner has signed and notarized the O&M agreement, and I am recommending approval and signature of the O&M agreement for this property.
Is this one of the areas that does have stormwater problems?
That area down in there, generally, yeah. I mean, there are some spots down in that area there.
And we're thinking this should help mitigate it.
Well, won't mitigate it. It's just going to stay the same. It's not going to affect it.
It'll help.
Yes.
Okay.
So all the stormwater, why they had to do it, yeah, it's not going to change anything in that sense.
Okay, do I have a motion on this O&M agreement?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
Vote yes. Number 15, we have some personnel requests. First one is from Fire Department, promotion request. Chief Cliff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm requesting the approval to promote Bradley Jacobson, Nicholas Ayers, Jesse Walker, David West, Joel Brzezinski, and Nathan Seraphin to the rank of lieutenant. These promotions are a result of a promotional process that we completed last year in July of 2025, which included the written examination and an assessment center. The current rates in the current CBA for our firefighter wages is for a Class C firefighter making $25.79 per hour, a Class B firefighter making $26.55 an hour, Class A firefighters making $27.31 an hour. And these promotions at the lieutenant rate will be at $28.68 per hour per the current CBA. The promotion would be in effect of the start of the pay period, which is July 31st of 2026. Funding was included in the approved 2026 budget, and these promotions will place a company officer at 3 of the 4 locations that are staffed daily and improve our supervision and our span of control. Our current setup is we have 1 captain per shift, that is the shift commander, and their current span of control is 1 to 11 because we staff 12 firefighters per day, and that's not including any volunteers that may respond as well. So we're well beyond the industry standard of having 1 supervisor for every 5 firefighters. So these promotions will help align our span of control with our operations of the fire department.
Chief, I have a question. So as far as after this promotion, their day-to-day duties will not change as far as responding to calls.
Correct.
This is not, the promotion is not resulting in a purely administrative role where they would be in an office, say. This is going to be, in addition to their supervisory role, they will also be responding to calls, et cetera, correct?
Correct. These are company officer positions, so they're going to be in charge of their work groups. And with the promotions will also come stretch assignments of areas of responsibility within those promotions. One of the biggest ones that will be coming up is our fire inspection, preventative fire inspection program that we'll be doing. That is a requirement for all of our officers, line officers, that they will be doing company inspections, just as an example of some of those stretch assignments.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion on these 6 promotions requests?
I'll make a motion. Oh, sorry. I'll make a motion to approve.
And second.
Call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, we have some new hires in the Streets Department. Director Puda.
Thank you. The Streets Department would like to recommend hiring Shane Houston as a streets maintenance laborer. His date of hire would be 7/29 of 2026. Rate of pay is $24.10 per hour. Shane previously worked for Waste Management as a driver trainer. He has a Class B CDL with no restrictions. He has knowledge of masonry work and 3 years of welding. The reason for this position here was there was a termination of an employee in that department, so he would be filling that spot. And the second one, the Streets Department would like to recommend hiring Ernie Robinson as a street maintenance laborer. His date of hire would be 8/3 of 2026. His rate of pay, $24.10 per hour. Ernie previously worked for Franklin Township as a laborer or driver. Prior to that, he was a CDL driver for Continental. He has a Class B CDL with no restrictions, and he has knowledge of storm sanitary lines along with paving and concrete work. The reason for this position was the transfer of an employee went to the building maintenance department, so that created an opening, so we are filling that, and I recommend approval to hire both Ernie and Shane.
Okay, any questions on these 2 new hire requests?
No. I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Parks and Recreation, Director Esper.
Thank you. Good evening. I am just here to simply request the approval of another seasonal lifeguard at the rate of $13.75. It's a Mackay Thigpen who will be joining us to complete the rest of our summer season. So I recommend the approval of Mackay.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. I know you need all the lifeguards you can get.
I will second.
Okay, call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Moving on, number 16, we have some training requests. First is from the Police Department. Chief Mook is not here tonight. Supervisor Clear, you're going to handle that.
Yes, I am. The PA State Police, that's one of your people. Those are your people. Are hosting a technical collision investigation.
Good stuff.
Training course in Swickley, PA, Allegheny County, from August 3rd through the 14th. Chief Book is seeking approval to send Captain Steiner and, Corporal Steiner, I just promoted him, and Patrolman Chest to the course. Both officers are members of the crash investigation team, and this advanced training will provide the scientific, analytical, and procedural skills to accurately determine cause, sequence, and contributing factors of traffic crashes. They have already attended the on-scene collision investigation course, which is a prerequisite for this course. There are no tuition costs. Lodging for the 12 nights at an Airbnb is approximately $137 per night, totaling $1,647 per diem, $80 a day for 10 days of $800, totaling $1,600. Travel will be by department vehicle. Estimated fuel costs $75. Total travel costs then are $3,322. This will come out of the training budget line item 44090. Would you like me to do the other request as well?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, the Mill Creek Police Department has 2 requests. The PA State Fire Academy is hosting a 2-week fire investigator course from 9/21 through 9/25, and also 9/28 through 10/2 at their facility in Lewistown, PA. This course is an opportunity to train our 2 fire investigators, Corporal Bolash and Detective Washek, in the topic of in-depth fire investigations. The 2 have already completed the online prerequisite courses for this training. There are no tuition costs. The lodging via Airbnb is $1,873.46 for 10 nights. Per diem is $748 per person. Fuel costs are estimated at $100 for the department vehicle. The total travel costs then are $3,469.46. Again, this will come out of the budgeted line item 44090 for training in the police department. So with that, I will make a motion to approve these 2 training requests.
And I will second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote on this. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Fire Department has some training requests. Chief Cliff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would you like me to do them individually or all together?
You can do them all together.
Okay. The first one is I'm requesting approval for Greg Ackrey, Ryan Geist, Gerald Hicken, Tyler Hickernell, Mike Kelly, Ryan Kennedy, Phil Widener, Garrett Weston, Dylan Winger, and Jesse Walker, Jake Wolfram, to attend the Emergency Boat Operations Rescue Course scheduled August 15th and 16th. This is a local training program that is going to be held by our in-house instructor, full-time firefighter Greg Summerson. This is designed to enhance the department's water rescue capabilities. The total cost for the course is $575 for all participants. This training will improve the operational readiness and ensure personnel are ready to maintain the skills necessary to safely and effectively respond to water rescue emergencies within Mill Creek Township and our mutual aid response area. The next request is to send part-time firefighter Ted Duncan to the Building Construction for Fire Investigator course at the PA State Fire Academy that is scheduled August 3rd through the 7th. The course is a prerequisite to the fire investigation certification and supports our department goals to conduct in-house origin and cause fire investigations on all structure fires. Transportation will be by department vehicle. The course is free of charge, requesting travel expenses to include hotel lodging of $496.20 and the per diem of $429. This is an important training for the forward expanding in our department's investigation capabilities. The next one is a training request for myself, Dave West, Jeff Tilton, Joe Albrzezinski, Captain Kennedy, and Parker Cernick to attend the First Responder Inspector Program. It's the NFPA 1030-2024 course through Bucks County Community College. This is a 40-hour hybrid program that is online instruction and in-person training through the Greenville Fire Department in Greenville, PA, from July 31st through September 10th. The cost of the course is $255 per student, and this course provides Pro Board certification that includes the reciprocity to the ICC certification of Fire Inspector 1. Preparing personnel to perform fire inspections supports the department's expanding fire prevention and code enforcement responsibility. The next training request is for full-time firefighter Mike Kelly. He's required through his paramedic program to also complete some additional courses to include ACLS, PALS, and PHTLS that are through the Indiana University of Pennsylvania main campus. Each of these courses are a 2-day course that requires an overnight hotel stay. Mr. Kelly will use a township vehicle for transportation. This request includes the hotel stays of $300 for the ACLS class, August 3rd through the 4th, $262 for the PALS class, August 17th and 18th, and $312 for the PHTLS class, scheduled for September 14th and 15th, along with the approved per diems of $133 per each trip. These courses are required for the successful completion of his paramedic. That concludes them.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Any questions or comments on these training requests?
I'll make a motion to approve the training requests.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 17 on our agenda, Transition Advisory Committee. We have RFP review, transition checklist draft. Supervisor Morris?
Yes, so on 2 sessions ago with the Transition Advisory Committee, we were presented with the RFP to kind of go over and see if we were planning to send that out, and I just wanted to have that discussion here now. So the RFP is to ask for someone to give us a price to create the administrative code. Personally, I don't think we need that RFP to ask someone else to create the administrative code. Essentially, the administrative code is just writing down the rules of how we operate. And I think in order to very smoothly transition to the manager, we should keep our rules, typically how our day-to-day is running. That should pretty much stay the same while the manager is acclimating, and that's the reason why I agree with having employees, kind of give their input on, how each department runs, and typically you'll have maybe 7 to 10 articles, and it'll end up being Chapter 2 of our E-Code 360. And so I think, personally, I think the quickest and cheapest way is to get this done with the people who know exactly how the day-to-day runs. With any outside counsel, they will have to come figure it out. So I just don't see how that could be cost effective.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Dr. Morris. The administrative code, and correct me if I'm wrong, is not necessarily telling the manager how they are going to be dealing with employees directly. Is that correct?
It just says their roles and responsibilities.
It'll say the roles and responsibilities of a manager, because we already have, and we actually voted on an employee handbook. That is what sets the rules and regulations for a manager and discipline, et cetera, correct?
Yeah.
So the administrative code has nothing to do with that, with the, it is a separate document.
Well, and some of them do put such as disciplinary practices in there, but if our goal is to keep everything consistent, we would just pick it up from the employee handbook and put it in the administrative code. You could do it that way if you wanted to, but it would still be the same.
But the administrative code is not an employee handbook, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So are we actually voting on something tonight, or is this just a comment?
If someone wanted to make a motion to.
Does, and I know at the Transition Advisory Committee meeting, there was a 6-2 or 6-1 vote. And then, did anyone give an estimate of what this cost may be, should this RFP go out? Do we have any ballpark idea?
I did not see any estimates that were given, but I believe when ALOM did the initial consulting that they gave an estimate of $50,000.
Okay. So
$50,000?
Mm-hmm.
So there has been kind of
just
a preliminary indication of what it could cost. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if this is done in-house and with qualified individuals, this does not preclude us, though, from going out later in order to have this read. So are we saying that this internal group would basically do the framework and the basics? It would be then sent to, and according to the document that we have here, there would be an administrative code that would be drafted, correct? And it would be a framework, which then goes to the advisory committee in September.
Mm-hmm.
The advisory committee in September then gives back comment. And then this doesn't preclude us from later putting this out to have it basically blessed by an organization.
Yeah, it could.
But the deep dive work is done internally.
Yeah, that's what I'm advocating for. And to keep in mind that the administrative code, it won't actually be adopted until the new council's in. So
Correct.
It stays a draft sort of all the way up until then.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any motion on anything presented, or?
No, and briefly, I know we were working on that transition checklist draft, and I was, for that one, I was going to make a motion to table so I could look over it further.
Okay.
I have a question about the draft. Was that presented to the advisory committee at the last meeting?
Yes.
Okay, and what were their comments on it, or?
It was a whole discussion.
Okay.
Do you have a quick version of what their expectations are of the advisory committee?
I think we're still waiting on some of the, formal feedback on it. I asked them, to kind of send something, but I think part of it was still wanting an RFP to be somewhere in there.
Okay, so is this going to be brought up at the next Transition Advisory Committee meeting?
It can be. I would say we should look over it first.
Right.
Kylie, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the administrative code, technically for a manager council government, already exists, correct? In the PA home rule charter.
In the optional plans.
In the optional plans. So it was created by the state to take, copy, paste. We don't want to do that, correct? But we have a framework to start with because Pennsylvania drafted one, correct?
Sort of an outline for it, and we've got multiple other townships to base it off of. We can see how they've done it.
Okay.
Yeah, the optional plan form of government that was adopted and the statute that surrounds it has a variety of provisions that you need to ensure that whatever code you come up with includes those provisions. And there are some municipalities that have essentially stuck to that. Others have gone beyond what's required. So it's just a matter of what the township ultimately decides they want to do and what framework they want to leave to the new council, who, as Kylie pointed out, they're the ones who ultimately adopt this ordinance. This current council doesn't. And really, the current board is simply, trying to make the transition, to the new council as smoothly as possible, and this is one of those components. So it's a lot of attention has been brought to it, but at the end of the day, there are a handful of communities that have done this in the past, although frankly, most recently, it's the mid-'70s is when the last time a community did this. So there are forms and formats out there that can be used, and there will be various decision points within the context of the code that it would be helpful to have the committee review and comment on and give their thoughts on what direction should the township go with respect to those particular decision points.
Okay, any other comment on this agenda item?
No. Oh, thank you. Thank you for your work too, and thank you to the committee, the Transition Advisory Committee, for their work and their time. I know that they are taking a lot of time, and they are doing diligent work. I know that there are a lot of other things too that they are going to be looking into. For instance, the reviewing the administrative code, submitting comments for the recommending qualifications for the township manager, and also recommended orientation materials for the township manager as well. So, and I believe they're going to be in the process of creating some bylaws based on their duties.
Okay. Moving on, number 18, communications, general communications. Does anyone have anything under general communications? Okay.
I guess,
you
I'm
do?
so sorry, I do.
That's okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
she's going to kill me for this.
Who?
Diane Lyons. Our Human Resources Director, Diane Lyons, will be retiring at the end of this month. She has worked tirelessly for 15 years for this township. From onboarding to the day-to-day workings of the pension to dealing with all of our human resource issues and hirings, interviews, et cetera. She has given her life the last 15 years to this township, and we owe her a debt of gratitude. I am going to miss her terribly, and the experience that she brought and what she has left us with has put us in a much better place. We have a township employee handbook because of Diane Lyons. And that is something we did not have here until 3 years ago, believe it or not. And so I can't thank Diane enough for all of the work that she did to make sure that that happened. So thank you, Diane. We are going to miss you terribly. I know we're in good hands, and you've left us in good hands. So thank you very much for that, but we will miss you.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer communications, anything?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Executive sessions were held on July 17th and July 23rd, discussing litigation matters related to state court litigation, right to know requests and code enforcement, personnel matters related to the police department, public safety matters related to police and fire departments, and real estate matters for parks and rec facilities. On the 23rd, litigation matters related to code enforcement and state court litigation, personnel matters related to the police department, public safety matters for police and fire department, and real estate matters for parks and rec. Solicitor communications, anything further?
Yes, actually, I needed to comment on the issue of council salaries after the change in the form of government that occurs in January of 2028. Issues have arisen over the compensation to be paid to the council members after the form of government changes in 2028. These questions pertain to both the newly elected council members in November of 2027 and the existing supervisors who will become council members. The Commission was required under the state optional plan law to establish the annual compensation of the council members to be elected in the November 2027 election, with their terms beginning in January of 2028. The Commission made the following recommendation: that as of January 1 of 2028, the effective date of the new form of government, Mill Creek Township Council members' annual compensation is to be based upon provisions in the second-class township code and consistent with the provisions of the optional plans law. As further explanation, the Commission stated later in their report, council members' compensation for those elected in the November 2027 municipal election shall be as stipulated in the second-class township code based on population and up to the annual maximum compensation of $8,385. The second-class township code provides the following with respect to supervisor compensation. Supervisors may receive as compensation an amount established by ordinance not in excess of the following. And then the section continues to provide that for townships with a population of 35,000 or more, the maximum annual compensation is $8,385. The issue is that the Commission did not identify a specific compensation. It simply pointed to the second-class township code, which similarly does not identify a specific compensation, but rather provides that the compensation can range between $0 and $8,385. Because the Commission did not identify a specific number for new council member compensation, and the second-class township code does not identify a specific number, it is not clear that they're entitled to any compensation or what that amount should be. I've reached out to the DCED to get clarification, and then waiting to hear a response. Ultimately, we need to seek an opinion from the Attorney General on whether new council members can be paid any amount and what that amount should be. My concern being that if they receive pay and it turns out that they were not entitled to it because the Commission didn't specify a number, they'd be subject to having to pay that money back. So I want to make sure that, in fact, they are entitled to it. In addition, although this wasn't in their recommendation, the Commission stated that the compensation of all township council members will apply to all sitting supervisors and those elected as of January 1 of 2028. In other words, suggesting that the existing supervisors moving into council positions would receive the same amount as the new council members. This does not appear to be consistent, however, with the statute. Under the statute, existing supervisors who are continuing to serve as council members shall receive the compensation provided by law at that time. The "at that time" refers to the date the optional form of government was passed. At the time the optional form of government was passed, the current Board of Supervisors were not being paid for being supervisors. There is no ordinance passed under the second-class township code that directs that the Mill Creek supervisors are being compensated as supervisors. Your compensation is solely as employees of the township. Similarly, I've reached out to DCED for clarification, and similarly may ultimately need to reach out to the Attorney General to determine whether existing supervisors can be paid the same amount as the newly elected council members. These issues are important because under the Pennsylvania Constitution, a municipality may not increase or diminish the compensation of elected officials during their terms through an ordinance. Thus, the new council cannot fix this after they take office. In addition, because the optional form statute provides that the Commission is to set the compensation, I do not think the current board can pass an ordinance to fix it. So I just wanted to kind of point that issue out, and the answer is yet to be determined. But that's, I think, an important issue, and hopefully it'll be important for those who are running to know come February when they have to submit their petitions what their compensation may be.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions or comments on that? Okay. Moving on, number 19, citizens to be heard. We had two residents that pre-registered. The first one is Sue Weber. Is Sue Weber in attendance? Okay. Okay. Sue is not speaking. The second resident that registered, Candy Horn. And you'll have
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Start the clock. Did I understand you to say, yes, you, Mr. Shaw, am I allowed to ask him a question?
Everything goes to the chair.
Ask me the question. You know the
Play
rules.
the game.
You
Okay.
know the rules.
Okay, so did I understand you to say that in 2028, that the current supervisors who are still in their elected position will still get their salary?
No.
No.
Next question.
Okay, what did you say? Because what I thought you said was because of, you have to clear this up.
Sure. The way the statute reads is their pay as employees is simply pay as employees. If they're no longer employees, which they can't be effective January of 2028, they wouldn't get employee salary.
Okay.
But in addition to that, they could get, quote, supervisor pay, but an ordinance has to be passed under the second-class township code to allow for that. There currently is not an ordinance in Mill Creek Township that pays the supervisors, quote, supervisor pay. And because of that, I'm not convinced that when January of 2028 rolls around, the supervisors who would carry over would be entitled to any pay.
All the more reason to have that RFP approved and have another agency look at it. Because who's going to vote for the ordinance? You three people.
It doesn't matter. They can't fix it by ordinance.
Okay.
The commission, it was the commission's obligation to do this. I'm not sure they did it right.
Okay, well, I thought I understood, you're talking the Government Study Commission?
Yes.
I thought that in their study, they said that the supervisor, quote, council pay would be between 4,500 and 83, whatever, 7.
But they didn't specify a number. They had to specify a number.
It could go between that, up to that.
But it was their obligation to identify what that number was.
Okay.
I don't think they did that.
All right. I have a couple other questions. Ms. Morris said she wanted the quickest and cheapest way for the RFP. And in the last 2.5 years, I have not seen the supervisors do anything cheap. I've seen you do things quick so the citizens cannot respond, like buying 8th Street, buying the Shrine Club, but I have not seen cheap. Same thing with the fire department, same thing with buying, ladder trucks and everything else. So I'm thinking the RFP that the transition team requested should be honored. I also wanted to know the light that you're going to have, the camera on Wager Road, is that going to have Rattlelight on it? Are those lights on the timers, do they have Rattlelight?
You're talking about the Relco, the Rattlelight? That's a separate component of, so this upgrade won't affect the Rattlelight. It'll still be there.
Okay. And then you know my position on the flock cameras. Can you tell me how many private entities other than the mall in Mill Creek have flock cameras?
I don't know the exact number. I can name Lowe's.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Asbury. That's the only one I'm aware of.
Okay. I'm going to try and play this for you. This gentleman, he said exactly what I think you should hear, and I'm hoping it'll come over the...
Real quick, and then we're going to finish up with the last two videos that are a little bit longer.
Okay, this is a gentleman from another department.
Jacob Petrosky, 194 South Lamador Trail. Good evening. I hope you guys have been having a great summer. I know I have. I've spent the last several months talking to people all over Casa Grande, and one thing keeps coming up: safety. So today I'm excited to announce a new company called Shepherd Safety. Our mission is simple: keep government officials and their families safe. We're launching satellites to watch over Casa Grande day and night. Our AI will monitor where government officials go, where they stop, who they meet with, and when they return home. We've already started collecting and building profiles on your vehicles, spouses' vehicles, children's vehicles, and other visual characteristics. We'll combine that information with publicly available data, Bluetooth signals, advertising IDs, vehicle information, commercial data sources, so our authorized users can replay the movements of every government official.
How much longer is that?
Just a second.
Okay.
There's no difference than the current flock safety capture systems. Everything will be stored securely and only authorized users will have access. Local businesses will be invited to join our network so government officials can continue being protected while shopping, eating, or traveling throughout the city. Some of you might think this sounds invasive, and you may worry about abuse, you may worry about unauthorized access, tracking innocent people. We understand those concerns. After all, those are the exact same
Okay,
concerns
thank you,
all the
Candy.
citizens.
So what you're trying to put on the citizens is going to turn back and bite you also.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Dismiss the directors? I was just going to say, you want to dismiss the directors?
I was remiss in not dismissing the directors. You are dismissed. Thank you for coming.
Dennis McAndrew, a couple quick things. One of the things you mentioned about the pay for the future council, what about possible potential benefits that is also not addressed?
I'm sorry, what's your question?
Will the part-time council, like Erie County and City County that are part-time, get health insurance?
No.
It doesn't address it though.
Yeah.
Will these?
That, I believe that's in the administrative code,
Yeah, it's in the code, but it,
or
you
will
know,
be.
it could be a question.
Could be.
The commission
I'm just saying,
didn't. The commission
that's
didn't
another-
address that issue.
Yeah, I'm
of
just
compensation.
asking,
They did.
maybe that's another question you might address. I'm just, the other thing though is with the RFP, I think people wanted it to show that there wasn't, because in the past there's been accusations of inside knowledge or conflict of interest with the solicitor, which I don't necessarily agree with. And I think good intentions, but neither sides are listening, that they want just to be upfront with the cost and want to present that nothing's being done to mislead anyone. And I know you guys are looking at the cost internally and saying that, well, we're not doing anything wrong. I think they just want to prove that nothing's being done wrong. So I think there's just not a meeting of the minds. I could be wrong. I apologize. And then I'm a big, you know I don't have tech. I'm not a big tech person, but I do believe in property rights and my own business of what I do on my property is mine. And if I want to do what I want to do, so everyone's focusing on these flock cameras, and I understand their personal rights and personal independence, but don't poop on the property owner's rights too, though, in the zeal to protect theirs. You still got to respect theirs too.
Next speaker.
Sorry, that's my show. Hi, my name is Christina Rosky, City of Erie. I'm here again to talk about the flock cameras. I know this isn't the first time I've stood up here, but I keep coming back to it because I can't emphasize enough how important this is. And over the last month alone, there have been several new developments that I just want to share. So the LAPD allowed its flock safety contract to expire in the beginning of July, following an audit that revealed 32% error rate, resulting in 161 high-risk stolen vehicle stops involving innocent drivers. And so the department has cut off the data feeds until the company agrees for stricter terms regarding data ownership, unauthorized federal sharing, things like that. More recently, July 23rd, Monroe County, Indiana took a stand against mass surveillance by voting to terminate the contract more than a year ahead of schedule. So the commissioners acknowledged that the cameras had investigative value, like I said before, but concluded that the privacy and civil liberties concerns outweighed those benefits. And I brought this example up last time, but I think it's one of the more important ones to review again. The internal review in May revealed federal immigration authorities accessed Dayton, Ohio's flock safety camera data over 7,100 times, violating municipal policy, and the breach led to the physical coverings by the city staff and just highlighted the failure of local privacy safeguards again. And so these examples are why I keep bringing this up. It doesn't really matter how many policies are in place, safeguards, who happens to be in charge today. Every community thinks that this won't happen here until it does. And so we aren't immune just because we want to believe our safeguards are better. And so therefore, I'm formally asking the township to take immediate action regarding flock cameras, oh my God, any similar AI-enabled surveillance or automated license plate reader systems that are connected to the internet or capable of large-scale data sharing and tracking. First, cancel any existing contract or agreement involving flock safety or similar surveillance systems. Second, remove township access to these camera networks and discontinue participation in any shared surveillance database or monitoring program connected to them. Third, engage directly with the owners of the Mill Creek Mall and any other private properties using these systems and strongly encourage the removal of AI-enabled internet-connected surveillance cameras that collect or share mass vehicle or movement data. Fourth, make clear public statements acknowledging the privacy, cybersecurity, civil liberties, and public safety risks created by network surveillance systems of this kind. And finally, and most importantly, outside of getting rid of them, in my opinion, is working on an ordinance restricting or prohibiting the use of AI-enabled, internet-connected license plate readers and similar mass surveillance camera systems within the township.
Hi, Caleb Retchen, City of Erie. I want to bring attention to the fact that this is a highly bipartisan topic. A lot of unity is behind getting these cameras taken down. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to read you a memo that was put out by 2 Republican state representatives for Pennsylvania. The memo is entitled, Protecting the Fourth Amendment, Establishing Safeguards for Automated Surveillance Technologies. This is circulated by Representative David Rowe and along with Josh Bassline. The memo states, in the near future, I intend to introduce a 2-bill package to establish reasonable safeguards for the use of automated license plate readers, ALPRs, facial recognition systems, and other emerging technologies that electronically collect and retain information about individuals. Automated surveillance technology allows government agencies to track the movements and activities of law-abiding Pennsylvanians on an unprecedented scale. While these tools may serve legitimate law enforcement purposes, their indiscriminate use can result in the collection and retention of vast amounts of information about individuals who are not suspected of any wrongdoing. When combined across multiple systems, facial recognition records and other personally identifiable information can provide the government with a detailed picture of an individual's life, including where a person lives and works, whom the person associates with, the places of worship or political events the person attends, and even when the person seeks medical care or legal advice. Without clear guardrails, these emerging technologies could transform limited investigation tools to an Orwellian system of mass surveillance. To ensure that the convenience of these technologies do not come at the expense of the fundamental protections guaranteed by the Fourth Amendment, I intend to introduce the following bills. Document 1. Bill number 1. The legislation would establish necessary safeguards governing the use of ALPRs, facial recognition systems, and other technologies that electronically collect and retain personally identifiable information. Absent the existence of exigent circumstances, the bill would require a government agency to obtain a warrant before utilizing these technologies to search for or track a specific person or license plate, limit the retention of the collected information to the shortest period reasonably necessary, and require ALPRs to be clearly identified via signage similar to that required for certain automated speed enforcement systems. Significantly, these rules would not apply to ordinary security cameras that record video without automatically identifying individuals or harvesting personal identifiable information. Bill number 2. This legislation would authorize local governments to adopt by ordinance a moratorium on the installation and use of the automated license plate readers within their municipal boundaries. This measure would ensure that residents and local officials have a meaningful voice in determining whether technology capable of continuously collecting and retaining personally identifiable information may be used in their communities. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Larissa Land of Erie, Pennsylvania. And I am not an expert on flock. I'm not an expert on, data stuff and whatever, computers. But I am a woman, and just like 60% of the people sitting in front of me. And I think that it's really important that women pay attention to what's going on. If you aren't doing anything illegal, you have nothing to worry about. That seems to be the consistent argument in favor of these cameras, which is hardly favorable in and of itself. Instead, it's more of an argument of why the average person should not fear mass surveillance and data collection without a warrant. So what was the ex of Josue Ayala of Milwaukee doing that was so illegal? Nothing. She did nothing to warrant the more than 50 searches of her license plate Ayala used to stalk her. Her other ex, guilty of only having had a past relationship with her, apparently warranted over 100 searches by Ayala. Of course, we're told anyone accessing this information needs to justify their access. So what was this officer's justification? Investigation. And then the internal affairs investigator, meant to investigate Ayala's actions, went on to stalk someone using the same warrantless surveillance and even escalated to placing a physical GPS tracker on his victim's vehicle. There are countless stories like this one. The Holiday Hills, Illinois police chief who stalked 6 people, 3 of whom were ex-girlfriends. As of almost 3 weeks ago in Georgia, there were at least 10 officers arrested and charged with misusing flock camera databases for personal information. A Costa Mesa officer stalked his wife, his mistress, and his mistress's ex-lover. That's the wording used by CBS LA. I would personally call them domestic abuse victim and affair partner, but that's just me. Jerome County, Idaho sheriff stalked his wife and used the justification of test. A Sedgwick, Kansas police chief stalked his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend. All of these violations aren't just magically picked up or noticed by flock, by internal affairs, by localities, or even by the police departments themselves. They are reported by the victims after they've already been victimized. Just a few headlines that come up when researching this include: police keep losing their jobs for using flock cameras to stalk people. Cops keep getting arrested for using flock to stalk people. US police are using AI surveillance cameras to stalk partners and exes. So how is this making any of us safer? It seems to me that anyone who has been a victim of stalking, let alone domestic violence or sexual assault, would fully understand the dangers that the Mill Creek supervisors, Flock, and Cafaro have brought to our community. I asked the supervisors to consider, how are you going to feel when an officer takes a liking or a disliking to you or one of your children or spouses, and they know every move you and every family member make? Will you feel safer then? I'm formally asking the township to take immediate action regarding flock cameras by canceling any existing contract or agreement involving flock safety or similar surveillance, removing township access to these camera networks, and discontinuing participation in any shared surveillance database or monitoring program connected to them, engaging directly with the owners of the Mill Creek Mall and any other private properties using these systems, and strongly encourage the removal of AI-enabled internet-connected surveillance that collect or share mass vehicle or movement data.
My name is Alice Edwards, and I'm a 34-year resident of Mill Creek, and this is the first time I've come to talk before you today. I can't really add a whole lot different than what the other people said, except that I endorse all of their requests. I'm very concerned about the erosion of our privacy rights. I'm concerned that flock cameras create a legal loophole, which will, as opposed to, for instance, cell phone data, because flock does not require a warrant to access that information. I'm concerned about the misuse that was already reported extensively. I'm also involved in immigration resettlement agencies in Erie, And I'm concerned about ICE. I understand that Flock states that it doesn't have an agreement with ICE, but we know from the news, from the data, that ICE has been getting information from Flock cameras, perhaps through another legal intermediary. We should be absolutely scrupulous in our collaborations and in the tools that we are using in law enforcement to create trust in our community and to actually keep our community safe. And I'm encouraging you to discontinue the relationship that we have with Flock.
Hello, I'm Ben Engelhart. I also want to continue on my disapproval, I'll continue on their disapproval of flock cameras. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, less than 1% of license plates scanned by the license plate readers are connected to any criminal activity. And in the cases where they get it wrong, 1 in 10 license plates are also misread. In one instance, an Ohio man, his plate had a 7 but was read as a 2, and thus concluded in him being detained and held at gunpoint. And cases like this are not uncommon. Awesome. Thank you.
Hello, Michael Putzkolny, Erie resident. I'm also here to talk about the insecure AI-enabled mass surveillance tool Flock cameras and advocate for them to be banned in this jurisdiction and others. Not only Flock, but we are witnessing the mass expansion of surveillance data centers, AI surveillance, drone technology, and more insidious big tech overreaches being incorporated into the DHS, ICE, our police forces, and corporations at large. When it comes to companies like Flock and other corporations, even after Flock is removed, like Axon, we are dealing with entities that seek to take advantage of disorganized communities to expand the power of police forces and corporations to gather massive amounts of data, such as images of passing vehicles, store location, time, and details on vehicles way beyond license plates. This comes with access to nationwide tracking via the internet. All this data is gathered, sold off to who knows, and is very unsecure, allowing almost anyone to access it. Imagine you went to Mill Creek Mall and you had a bad breakup with a police officer, and that police officer or whoever was able to search and track your location. This is a numerous real example. Imagine if you used your free speech to speak out in order to help your community, but stated uncomfortable, factual information. Do you want private corporations to be able to identify you in your location and even try to predict what you're going to do in the future? There are many more examples like that that people are facing around the country. The unaccountability of the police and these big tech corporations, allowing them to roll out systems like Flock before communities can even be educated on them or counteract them, lends itself to the institutional goals of police to work on behalf of private capital and the goal of maximizing shareholder profits for corrupt tech companies. There is almost no proof of crime solving being done or increased as a result of this technology. In fact, many more problems and safety concerns are created for community members, as highlighted by previous speakers. Anyone on any side of the aisle in this issue, once educated, seems to be against it. Some of these tech companies with access to this data have taken part in the genocide of Palestinians, training their AI algorithms on killing children and entire families. Imagine being undocumented or a minority in this community and faced with this situation. I fully advocate for an ordinance completely prohibiting these kinds of surveillance tools in our community, and I think the public outcry in this instance shows you exactly what you need to be doing in this moment.
Good afternoon, supervisors. Hi, everybody. My name is Nicholas Brown. I'm a Mill Creek Township resident, and like most of the people here, I'm here to talk about the Flock cameras. Now, I'm an Arab American. I've internalized the concept that I'm being tracked every once in a while by the federal government, but the concept of a private corporation storing my face, my car, and everybody else I know's face and car, and storing it on an unsecure database for just about anybody, including someone like me, to hack into, goes against my moral structure. So this is a point of contention across the country. I mean, we have 2 House Republicans in the state going against it, and federal Congressman Massey also introducing legislation against flock, and it's pretty obvious to see why. We've got 22 NVD codes, none of which have been acknowledged. The national, I don't remember the term for that, but these are ways to get into them. And the example that I remember is basically you can go up against basically any camera, go behind it, press the power button 3 times, and it'll activate its Wi-Fi hotspot. You can connect to that, and the password is security in all lowercase, and congratulations, you're in the system. You can look at any images, you can look at any videos. All images and videos are stored for 30 days. You can do this with a Google search as well. A lot of their admin websites or demonstration websites can be accessed through DuckDuckGo, Google, Bing. I mean, it's got me, you, and everybody else in it. We've got them at Lowe's, we got them at the Mill Creek Mall. I'm pretty sure we have them at Barron. I'm not sure about where all of them are, but I mean, that's pretty much enough. Put them at the mall, that's a big issue for me. They also say that they've never been hacked to this day. That's a complete lie. I mean, everybody knows that they've been hacked. You don't need to hack it. Their idea is, well, if I don't have any walls around my house and people just come in and take everything from me, well, then I guess you have never been robbed before. But there's no security on these things. You can just look at everything on it. And you could say that that's transparency. But I think that dealing with like people's images all day, every day, constant surveillance. I mean, these examples of people going in and like tracking their ex-partners, this is horrible. And it's not just for a police officer to use. I can use it. Anybody could use it. Anybody can look at these things and track whoever they want, whenever they want. We have outsourced our security for the cheap to private corporations. Like I said, I am understanding of the necessity of license plate readers and to an extent surveillance cameras, okay? But the concept of a private corporation that is incredibly easy to hack into is just insane to me. And I mean, we have countless examples of them lying to police chiefs in city councils and so on and so forth. And I don't want that to happen any longer here. We're telling you guys that just to mull over the idea of giving up on our contracts. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Rebecca McKay. I'm kind of just the past month or 2 new to this flock camera issue. I've been a lifelong Mill Creek resident, and as you can probably see, I've lived a long life here. And I've learned that we can't always trust our government officials. We can't always trust big corporations. And I think, and I'd like to suggest, that 1984 stay fiction and the Minority Report stay a movie and not a documentary. Thank you.
My name is Jeffrey Lobaugh. I grew up in Mill Creek, and I'm currently a resident of Harbor Creek Township. I can't really say it any better than everyone else has said, but these cameras are not to be trusted. Like, so far, they have had multiple breaches where they've said previously, like in Chicago and Ohio, they told their police departments that they would be the only people who would be able to see into that. And then they find out down the line that there are other people going in there, such as Department of Homeland Security and even Flock themselves. The vice president of Flock and a, how do you call it, promotional exhibit, I suppose, accessed a Flock camera inside of a little girl's gymnastic room in a Jewish community center. there's no reason that they should be able to access that. And how can we trust that they won't access that here? Right now, it's pretty limited how many we have here in Erie, but, you know, it could become like Pittsburgh where it's down on every single block. There's an app called DFlock. You can look on the map. There's one every single street corner for miles and miles and miles. So I think that it really needs to be nipped in the bud right here. And you know, I support all of them and what they've said about, you know, stopping these cameras and just nipping them in the bud right here. But they're not to be trusted. This company's not to be trusted. As he said, they're not secure. Anybody can go up to them and use them. As far as I know, there was a QR code on the back that you were able to scan for a while that you were able to just get right into them and access them, as well as the method of just turning on its Wi-Fi hotspot and logging right in. So it's not safe. There's police officers tracking their ex-girlfriends. There's been people who are wrongly accused, wrongly followed. And like I said, the DHS tracking people when they shouldn't be, backdooring into it when Flock assured the cities that signed the contract that they would not have access. I know that Chicago canceled their contract because of that, and it is just, it's not secure for anybody. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment, and I would really support any action from you guys to take them down.
Good evening, Art Jerry. This microphone is not a platform for residents to criticize other residents. Mr. Servidio's remarks concerning me at the June 23rd meeting were unacceptable. It was unprofessional, and he should be banned from speaking at these meetings if he's going to criticize other residents. My topic tonight is the egregious legal fees Mill Creek Township is paying our solicitor. At a previous meeting, I pointed out that the Government Study Commission in their findings revealed that the legal fees in Mill Creek Township were significantly higher than other like-sized townships in Pennsylvania. Over a 6-year period from 2019 to 24, it amounted to $3 million more than other like-sized townships. At the supervisor meeting of 6/23, Mrs. Clear accused the Government Study Commission of cherry-picking the numbers. In reality, these numbers come from the DCED, Department of Community and Economic Development. The DCED received numbers and financial statements from the townships. These are numbers that Mill Creek, Lower Paxton, Middletown, and Hempfield townships report to the DCED. These are the latest figures for legal fees compiled by the DCED from each township's financial statements based on what each township reports to the DCED, not cherry-picked. One would assume the figures each township reports as part of their financial statements are accurate. I would hope there is no fraudulent reporting from our leaders or the leaders of other PA townships. Mrs. Clear is evidently stating that Mill Creek Township and the other townships possibly are not reporting actual numbers to the DCED. This seems to be a fraudulent act that Mrs. Clear, Mr. Dan Ouellette, Mr. Bach may have done, as well as an accusation to the sitting supervisors of these other townships that they too may have been reporting inaccurate figures by way of their financial statements, also a fraudulent act. I'm a little surprised that the DCED has not caught this fraudulent activity perpetrated by Mill Creek, Lower Paxton, Middleton, or Hempfield townships, or this is an attempt by Mrs. Clear to shift focus from irresponsible financial decisions on her part in the hopes that voters will not notice this financial decision as well as other irresponsible financial decisions she and Mr. Ouellette outvoted Mr. Bach on. If Mrs. Clear continues to stand by her statement of false figures, perhaps I will contact the DCED and ask them to investigate the possible fraudulent reporting of financial statements from Mill Creek, Lower Paxton, Middletown, or Hempfield Townships. Perhaps I'll also contact the supervisors from Lower Paxton, Middletown, and Hempfield and inform them that Mrs. Clear is questioning the validity of the financial statements that they have reported to the DCED. Perhaps there should be an investigation on the relationships between our present and past supervisors and Solicitor Mark Shaw. There has to be a reason that Mrs. Clear, previously Mr. Danilette, and presently Dr. Morris continue to funnel business to Attorney Shaw and his legal firm, despite the comparisons with other like-sized townships regarding legal fees. Would you like another copy of those legal fees?
Mr. Algieri.
Yes.
Is it correct or not that during the hearing that the commission had with respect to my attorney's fees, that I offered an exhibit that they received but then refused to include within their report because, contrary to the cherry-picked numbers that you identified, I identified fees from Ben Salem Township, which is comparable, that averaged $808,000 a year over the 4-year period you identified. Lower Marion Township that averaged $640,000 over that same time period, in Upper Darby that reflected a $728,000 average over that time period. But the commission refused to accept that information or include it in their reports. In fact, in your report, am I correct that for Ben Salem Township, you indicated it was not reported? But when I approached Ben Salem Township and got the information, it reflected again that they had averaged $808,000, which was not inconsistent with the fees that the firm has charged the township over the years. Am I also correct that during the discussions that the commission had with myself, there was not a single question with respect to what work the firm did for the township, simply reflected on things that frankly were irrelevant? So I'm getting tired of you coming in on a regular basis attacking me and my firm with respect to these numbers when in fact they were cherry-picked. And when you don't know the extent of the work that's necessary, yet you just kind of compare it to Lower Paxton, who knows what Lower Paxton has, or what they do, or what their philosophy may be? Who knows what risks they may be willing to take?
We chose those 3 townships because those were the 3 closest in population. Mill Creek is 54,000, Lower Paxton was 53.5, Middleton was 46, and Hempfield was 41,000. I do not know why Ben Salem does not report to DCED. I have no idea. I can't answer that.
Maybe you should report them as well.
But the fact remains, the only thing I was asking our supervisors was to open this up for a bid. This is just looking at the numbers.
You've simply just attacked me time and time again, sir, and I'm tired of it.
Well,
with false information and inconsistent information.
If it was my company, and once again, I used your firm for my business. I used your firm from 1990 until I sold it in 2017. I have nothing against your firm. What I'm against are these legal fees that I think are too much. And it's our dollars. It's our tax dollars. I have nothing against you, Mr. Shaw.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Algieri. You had your 3 minutes. Yeah, we have to keep things moving here. Thank you.
I'm coming at a wrong time. I'm Paulette Hessinger. I'm 80 years old, and they've all been spent in Mill Creek. I want to tell you I'm so proud of these young people. I don't have the facts they have, but I've been reading all about it. And I grew up here. We're a community. A community does not need cameras on its people. We have neighbors, and we love our neighbors. We support our neighbors. We support our community. Very nervous, sorry. But I've listened to what these young people have said. I'm trying very hard on my part. But I'm very proud of this community, and I would hate to see them decide that this needs to be the Gestapo or a surveillance community, because we all see one another and we have policemen. We have to start training and supporting our policemen and making sure that they understand both sides and know how to act in a group. But these young people have made me very proud, and I hope you consider what they said. Thank you.
Hello, hello. My name is Will Swick, and I am a Mill Creek resident. I am here today to speak about flock cameras and to make asks of this body. First and foremost, I would like to thank everyone who has come to speak before me. They've done a really great job of outlining their concerns and providing this body with many facts, about flock. It's no secret that flock safety has lied many, many times. They have lied about the capabilities of their systems and the security aspects of their systems. Earlier this year, Flock Safety claimed it partnered with the ACLU of New Mexico to craft and pass state-level surveillance legislation, a statement that was disputed by the ACLU. To be clear, again, Flock claimed to be partnering with the ACLU, when in fact, the ACLU has been raising concerns about how Flock and their systems are an active threat to security, safety, and privacy. Flock lied. In April of this year, a city council member in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, asked Flock's chief information security officer point blank at a public meeting whether the company's system created heat maps revealing where a particular vehicle had traveled over time. The representative told the council it did not, quote unquote, create a pattern or heat map of an individual's movement, The council approved the contract that night, but by the next morning, the city learned that the statement was false. Flock later admitted its system does produce a heat map of where a vehicle has been photographed for up to a month. Flock lied. When Loveland, Colorado's police chief raised concerns that federal agents were accessing the town's camera data, Flock told him federal agencies no longer had access. And CEO Garrett Langley told the press Flock had no federal contracts. The company was later forced to admit it had pilot contracts, with U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the Department of Homeland Security that gave those agencies direct access to license plate data. Flock lied. Why are we not fighting tooth and nail to stop these liars from recording us? I am formally asking the Mill Creek Township to take immediate action regarding flock cameras and any similar AI-enabled surveillance or automated license plate reader systems that are connected to the internet or capable of large-scale data sharing and tracking. Cancel any existing contract or agreement involving flock safety or similar surveillance systems. Remove township access to these camera networks and discontinue participation in any shared surveillance database or monitoring program connected to them. Engage directly with the owners of the Mill Creek Mall and any other private properties using these systems. Strongly encourage the removal of AI-enabled internet-connected surveillance cameras that collect or share mass vehicle or movement data. And lastly, apologies for going over time.
Okay, thank you. I would ask any other speakers.
I have here over 900 signatures, data sheet of over 900 folks who have signed the petition titled End Flock Surveillance in Erie County.
I'm going to request any further speakers.
I'm going to leave them here. I would ask that you
Sir,
please take this seriously.
Sir,
because
your
the
time
people who
is
live in
up.
Mill Creek are
And I would
very concerned.
respectfully
Please take
ask that
this-
any further speakers adhere to the 3-minute rule, or we will not have any further public comment tonight. Ma'am? Is there anyone else that has would like to make public comment? Please adhere to the 3-minute rule. Be respectful of others so we can move this along.
I do need to be on my phone. My notes are on it. Sorry. My name is Joe Michaels. I'm just here to ask that the township create an ordinance banning AI-enabled ALPR cameras. You've heard a lot tonight from everybody here about, this, I'll say, specific flaws in the security weaknesses of the flock cameras and abuse of the system. But at a high level here, let's say these AI cameras work correctly. Do you really want to live in a AI-managed 1984 style surveillance state? Is that really the future we want to have and that we want to give to our children and descendants? And that's why, again, I ask that we, at least on a local level, we do our best and create an ordinance banning these systems and recognize that we have extensive security systems and other surveillance systems that are not nearly so invasive to the individual. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan Brayman. I'm a resident of Erie. My kids go to school in Mill Creek. We shop in Mill Creek all the time. A few things. One, the ACLU has put out a model resolution so that if you're wanting to do something about flock in the township but aren't sure where to start, it's pretty simple. They've got a model resolution all set up on how to cancel the contracts and how to address flock cameras and similar technology in the future. Similarly, it proposes putting in guardrails, including limiting what categories of investigations they can be used for and requiring warrants. Additionally, I have a short clip. I'll just play some audio from.
Just like what you guys are doing to us is wrong. Because it's wrong. No different from flock. Bluetooth signals all over Casa Grande. Because it's over Casa Grande and extremely safe. We're launching satellites to watch over Casa Grande day and night. Our AI will monitor where government officials go, where they stop, who they meet with, and when they return home. We've already started collecting.
Essentially, the idea, these cameras don't just search all of us, they search all of you too. They search our kids. Kids go shopping in the malls, they go shopping at the other stores in Mill Creek. I think it's important to recognize this impacts all of our privacy. If a kid is having a rough day and they run out of a car topless or are just melting down or an adult is melting down, that's their worst day caught on camera. And unless you regularly check the access logs and understand all of the technology behind it, you don't know those videos aren't going somewhere else too. It's already been discussed, the many security issues, the flaws with this. I'd be interested to hear, Chairman Bach, if you have any thoughts on why you believe the flock cameras are secure or how you believe they've helped the town, because I'm not really clear if all of you properly understand how they work and what safeguards are in place.
I've released a statement for the media when this all first came about, so I'll refer to that.
Okay, so you can't explain how they work or what safeguards are in place without that statement?
I'm not going to comment on that right now.
Understood. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Brian O'Connell. I'm a Mill Creek resident. Like many people here, I'm in agreement that I'm opposed to the flock cameras. Like the gentleman, two people before me, I'll give more of a philosophical statement. So people before me, like a lot of them outlined particulars, which I am very much in agreement with. But from a philosophical standpoint, I believe that the fact that we are a relatively free society is a key factor that has made our nation great. And I'm proud to live in a free society with other people who likewise value our freedom. I also believe that a crucial component of this freedom is that we protect ourselves from unreasonable searches and warrantless mass surveillance. And I believe that these cameras and similar cameras to them pose this risk. And a couple additional points. You know, it's easy to look at these few cameras in our local area and think it's just a few more cameras. But really the major threat that these cameras pose is when you add more and more cameras everywhere, and then combined with the fact that, you know, the emerging technology of AI processing, it's really hard to even understand the types of ways that this information can be used against us. Like, you know what I mean? It's like kind of like when you use your cell phone, sometimes it knows what you're thinking. You know what I mean? And you know, oh, it must be listening to me, but it's not even listening to you, really. That's not how it got that information. You don't understand how it figured this out or how it predicted this for you. You don't understand. In a similar way that you don't understand that, you can't see down the road to what kinds of threats this is going to pose to your children and your grandchildren. And actually, with the rate at which it's happening, it's, you know, it's going to be more imminent than that. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Ted Buchanan. I've been a Mill Creek resident my entire life, and I won't repeat the things we have already heard. They've done a great job, better than I could ever. But Erie has always and will always be my home. I grew up here, I went to school here, I even graduated from Barron a few months ago. So, in fact, I even had Vice Chair Kim Clear as my 8th grade English teacher. So, and then I went down to Pittsburgh for a year, and I got homesick. That's how much I love this place. And just the thought that Mill Creek is even open to the idea of implementing flock cameras is so disappointing to me. While I understand the desire for a safer Mill Creek because we all want our community to be safe, there are significantly better ways than to utilize flock. Flock has lied on multiple occasions about the capabilities of their cameras, such as Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Colorado, Illinois, among many others, along with having multiple lawsuits against them. And one of the big lies I've seen circulating is that they do not track or map vehicles. We know this is a flat-out lie because a woman in Texas was tracked and arrested for leaving her state to obtain a legal and safe abortion in another state. This is also alongside the multiple police and police departments that are being taken to court for the misuse of the flock database. As someone with a history and poli-sci degree, current events are following a very scary and dangerous pattern, and I can only describe it as watching a car crash in slow motion and knowing how to stop it, but not being able to grab that parking brake. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rhiannon Farringer. I also live in Mill Creek. I wasn't intending on speaking anything, hence why I have my little sign here. But I felt emboldened by a lot of the members of my community to voice my own concerns. As someone who has had a stalker before and someone who has been a victim of assault, I stand with everything that all the people that have spoken against the flock cameras are saying. I personally would not feel safe going to the mall or to Lowe's or to any other establishment that has a flock camera around them. And like someone earlier has said, I see 3 women on this panel right now, and I know that you all know how scary it is to be a woman right now. Excuse me. Please, I would really reconsider having these flock cameras around. Tell them to get the flock out.
Hi, Eric Peterson, Mill Creek. I'm just going to make this quick. End all the contracts with Flock. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Julia Jacobs. I'm a resident of the city of Erie, but I work in Mill Creek. I am, with my fellow community members, formally asking the township to take immediate action regarding flock cameras and any similar AI-enabled surveillance or automated license plate reader systems that are connected to the internet and capable of large-scale data sharing and tracking. First, you should cancel any existing contract or agreement involving flock safety or similar surveillance systems, then remove township access to these camera networks and discontinue participation in any shared surveillance database or monitoring program connected to them. Third, engage directly with the owners of the Mill Creek Mall and any other private properties using these systems, and strongly encourage the removal of AI-enabled internet-connected surveillance cameras that collect or share mass vehicle or movement data. Fourth, make clear public statements acknowledging the privacy, cybersecurity, civil liberties, and public safety risks created by networked surveillance systems of this kind. Finally, begin working on an ordinance restricting or prohibiting the use of AI-enabled internet-connected license plate readers and similar mass surveillance camera systems within the township. If security cameras are necessary for legitimate safety purpose, they can be replaced with traditional closed-circuit systems that don't rely on broad data collection, internet connectivity, artificial intelligence analysis, or large-scale information sharing. These are not too complex of asks to be taken into consideration and acted upon, considering there are many other townships and communities that have done so. There's also an ACLU model ordinance that makes it quite easy to adopt such policies that we are demanding. As previously mentioned, we have a petition with over 1,000 signatures also supporting the removal and banning of this type of infrastructure. I also did want to mention, it is my first time having the misfortune of witnessing Chairman Bach here, and your quite nasty attitude. I'm sorry, but man, you were obviously on your phone, not listening. And I noticed you mentioned you released a statement at the beginning of all this, which does to me imply that you're not open-minded to change your opinions and change your beliefs based on new discoveries, new developments that prove the insecurity of these systems. So I personally, and many others, can only assume that you're somehow benefiting from these invasive security systems. No true American that I know supports this level of overreach, Democrat, Republican, whatever you identify with. This is unconstitutional, and we demand change. Thank you.
Any other citizens to be heard? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to number 20.
Sorry, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You have to come up to the podium, sir.
I'm going to keep it really short, but I think it's really ironic that we spend a lot of time putting down other countries like China for having things like the social credit system, and things like this kind of show that we don't actually care about that stuff, that we just kind of put out a bunch of propaganda. We are doing the exact same thing that we are accusing them of doing, and we go on our own witch hunt and accuse countries of doing these things that we act like we disagree with, but we do the same exact things in different ways, if not the same exact things. That's all.
Okay, any other comments from the board before we go on to number 20, adjournment?
I could make a motion to adjourn. I guess before I do that, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank people for coming and feeling comfortable enough to come up and speak to us today. It's not easy to come in front of a board or to a public meeting like this and speak their truth. So, I think we all have taken a lot from today. So thank you very much. Okay. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I will second.
Okay, Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. We are adjourned at 8:16 p.m.